Hello everyone and welcome back to Quality Gaming. Today we are going to take a look at One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. This fighting game promises to let you experience your beloved heroes from the One Punch Man universe. Whether this is accompanied by fun gameplay is the question we will try to answer today. One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows is available on Steam for €49.99 for your regional equivalent. Let's start with a little detour. One Punch Man is originally a Japanese webcomic that started in 2009 and tells the story of Saitama. Over time it got made into a manga and then into an anime that reached insane levels of success. I even watched, and I really do not like anime. The thing is, One Punch Man makes fun of all the tropes so often found in anime without ever feeling like it's being overly sarcastic or overly mocking. Saitama as a character cannot be described in any other words than overpowered. His whole shtick is based on the fact that he needs just a single punch to defeat an enemy. You know, the kind of punch you take at 4 AM when you're drunk and trying to get a girl that is there with the biggest guy you have ever seen and just knocks you out straight. So, Saitama is depressed and is desperately looking for someone who would be worth fighting. Someone to provide a challenge because fighting evil monsters becomes boring when you can defeat every one of them with a single punch. So, that's that. The question now is, how do you incorporate this into a game? Games are all about being challenging, about you as a player feeling awesome whenever you defeat a monster while barely surviving because of your skill. The developers at Spike Chunsoft decided that the only real way to achieve this is by making a game that is not about Saitama. Some of you may already understand. You will be the hero nobody knows. You will get to create a hero, a character, and Saitama works only as a nice power-up that you got to use a few times. But otherwise, you are here alone, as your hero, and you get to create your own manga hero. Sadly, the customization options aren't that great, and even though they do expand as you progress through the game, in the end, offering is lacking. I never really was a person who would indulge in fighting games, so I was actually pleasantly surprised that this isn't an overly complex fighting game with thousands of different combos that an average player has zero chance of remembering. It certainly makes no sense of even trying to write them down because you do not have the time to look at a piece of paper when you're fighting because you would just get destroyed. Instead, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, uses a pretty simple control scheme and easy combos. Yet, the game manages to not become overly simple. Of course, the game includes special moves, combos, and everything you would expect from a fighting game. But it all works a bit differently than in most other fighting games. Some attacks need to be acquired and equipped so you can even use them. At times, this actually makes the game feel more like an action RPG, and since, as I said, I am not a giant fan of fighting games, I actually like this. This gameplay itself is often about waiting for a mistake your enemy makes, using a hard-to-block attack, and sometimes just about proper timing, but not as often as you might assume it would be in a fighting game. Now, this is where my issue with the game comes in. This tactic of mostly waiting is by far the best option, because Saitama, the overpowered guy, will sometimes come into fights and help you out by punching the hell out of your enemies. And you know when he is coming. There is a little timer that tells you how long you have to wait until Saitama or another hero arrives to the scene. This is such a shame. Whenever you see his icon, the best tactic is just to sit there, defend, maybe give out a punch here and there that reduces the timer before the hero arrives, and the fight is over. This mechanic does make sense lore-wise. Yes, Saitama is OP and his punch should one-shot the enemies, but the timer ruins it. It takes away all the tension of I need to focus hard or I will lose, and changes the game from trying to win into trying not to lose. And believe me, those things are very different. Luckily, there are a few things that can change the pace of the game. Events. Things like another enemy joining the fight, a meteor falling into the arena, etc. And it all looks great. You feel like you're playing an anime, which is really hard to achieve and is actually the primary goal of this game. The special moves and attacks are just as over the top as they should be. The only real visual problems comes in the cutscenes where the characters switch between moods and battle stances out of nowhere, and it can feel a bit weird. Outside of fighting, your goal is to make your character the very best and get him to the top of the Hero Association, a sort of league of superheroes. So go out and do quests given by characters from the universe. Sadly, these quests are very repetitious and quickly get boring. But for completing these quests, you get prestige that progresses you further. And you also get to learn new attacks and even get to have your own apartment. So a bit of Sims added into the fighting game. But honestly, these side activities will not be fun for a long time. Once you finish the main game, it is time to take on the multiplayer. Even local multiplayer actually, which I find to be a very nice thing in this day and age, and everything being done online, and this is especially great now when we are all sitting at home quarantined with our siblings, parents, and or partners. In local, you can even set your own rules, including whether Saitama should show up to help to resolve a fight. But, of course, the game also offers online play. Sadly, the matchmaking isn't that great, so you will often wait a long time to get a fight. So, in conclusion, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, is not a bad game. It's actually pretty decent. But it's sort of going through a personality crisis, as at times it just doesn't know whether it wants to be a pure fighting game or a heavy action RPG. I, for one, like the fact that it isn't a pure fighting game, but those expecting that should be warned. But if you want to play an action RPG / fighting game with an insane over-the-top Japanese anime style, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, is actually fun. Just don't pay the full price. Wait for a sale. $50 is way too much. Somewhere around $20-25 and the game is a good buy. So, that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the review, and if you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to share it with your friends. And comment if you have anything you would like to add. See you guys later with more gaming content.